这两结构我相信大家在学校里面绝对是没有学过的，所以很多时候我们在日常表达中间的一些逻辑结构其实是隐含在整个句式结构里面的，它并不一定是要通过关键词来展现，而这是往往大家可能听不懂比较复杂的段落的一些原因。
Hello everybody, welcome to the first episode of Gavin's Show, the program where you can learn English by listening to stories. Now, by the end of today's video, you can walk away with a couple of killer sentence structures that can help you think in English and also convey contrast without using any transitional words, the likes of although, but, however, none of that shit. And on top of that, I'm going to share with you a very important tip on pronunciation so that you can sound more like a native. But before that, let me tell you a story. A couple of days ago, I had an interpreting assignment, and as part of our job, I asked my client to give me some, meat materials. But obviously for him, it was his first time to work with an interpreter, and he didn't know any better. He was a bit reluctant to give me all these materials. This instance really just reminded me of a story I heard when I was back in Bath studying interpreting. One day, at the European Parliament, there was a conference, and an Irish member who'd just been to Yemen was reporting on her experience there. And she said, sorry, I can't do Irish accent, so you have to use your imagination. You can sort of, just picture Saoirse Ronan or Cillian Murphy speaking English. So the Irish speaker said, now there's a huge problem in Yemen, a very big one. And I think the Parliament may want to address it. And it's a cat problem. And if you look to the second floor where all the interpreting booths and all the interpreters were sitting, and if you look at the German booth, the French booth, they were just sort of looking at each other, And you can actually hear people thinking, cat problem? What the heck? Cat problem? Plague? Or too many stray cats? Because anticipation is a very important part of our job. As interpreters, you need to anticipate what the speaker is going to say. So everybody was thinking, but it's all keeping moving. So the Irish speaker continued. Yeah, it's a huge problem. Because in Yemen, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, out of nowhere, all of a sudden, everybody stops working and they start chewing cat. They start chewing cat. And now there's panic. There's panic at the second floor. What the fuck? Chewing cat. Yes. But had they done any preparation, or had they read anything about Yemen, or have they even just Googled anything about Yemen or cat, they know the cat is not C-A-T. It's Q-A-T or K-H-A-T. And it's kind of a drug. It's something like a tobacco leaf, and it indeed is a big problem, because in Yemen people do stop working out of nowhere, in broad daylight, and they start chewing on these leaves, and they get high, and who knows what. The Irish speaker was talking about a very serious drug issue, and you, as an interpreter, are talking about. So you're miles off. You're miles off. You need to get yourself back on track, which is very hard to do. And that's what you get if you don't have any preparation. And these people, they're not bad interpreters. I mean, they are in-house interpreters at European Parliament. They're among the top. But they didn't really have time for the preparation because it was a spontaneous speech. But this story just goes to show the importance of preparation, because no matter how good you are, you could be the best interpreters out there, but if you don't do any preparation, you're going to find yourself in trouble. So just because you have impeccable skills in interpreting doesn't mean you can interpret anything. So that's the biggest takeaway for this story. But with this story in mind, serving as a context, let's dive into the linguistic part of today's program, where we're going to be talking about sentence structures, expressions, and some pronunciation tips.
那作为第一期节目呢，还是先跟大家讲述一下为什么我们会把这个关注的重点都不会说中文，为什么会把这个关注的重点放在这个句式结构方面？因为很多人后台跟我私信说，还是不会 think in English， 就还是在脑子里面在做翻译。那我说当然了，因为你天天都在这个学语法，在背单词啊，就如果 如果就 think in English 是你的目标的话，那你每天去实现这目标的手段跟这目标本身是相背离的。那么如何用英文思考呢？我在这里比较推荐的是，如果你真的爱背东西的话，那就应该去背句式。我以前在这个视频里面也说过。当然了，我其实个人也不觉得这是非常好的方法，因为如果大家知道的话，我还是比较推荐直接你深入到内容里面去吸收自己喜欢的内容，这样潜移默化你就能够去习得而不是学得这门语言。当然了，很多人在应试，或者说很多人是不喜欢这样的方式，一定要去抓住什么东西，一定要去背什么东西才觉得安心。那没关系，大家可以从句式开始背起。那么为什么句式结构重要呢？因为它是真正能够帮助你去梳理出一条骨架，因为所有的这个单词啊、词组啊这些东西都是骨架上面的血肉而已。骨架本身是要用句型去搭建出来的，句型本身你收集的多了以后，你就自己会开始去思考。比如说，我们拿今天这个故事里面的这么一个逻辑举一个例子哈，我是个同传，我的技术还不错，翻译能力不错，可是这并不代表着我就什么都能翻我们就先表达这么一个意思。当然了，如果大家在学校里面学到那些关联词although, but， 我们也可以用，比如说 although I'm a good interpreter, blah 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 blah, I can't interpret anything。但是 although 有什么问题呢？就是它太正式了，日常的绘画中间比较少见。如果用 but 呢，比如说 I'm a good interpreter, blah 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 blah, but I can't interpret it。那整个句子的关注重点就会放到后半段。就会觉得，而且这个语气way too strong， 大家就会好奇为什么你这个好的口译员却不能够把这种东西翻出来呢？所以很多时候我们在日常表达中间的一些逻辑结构其实是隐含在整个句式结构里面的，它并不一定需要通过关联词来展现，而这是往往大家可能听不懂比较复杂的段落的一些原因。比如说我刚才在故事里面说到了这么一个结构，就是 just because you have great interpreting skills， 或者just because you're a great interpreter，That doesn't mean you can't interpret anything. 或者说 having great interpreting skills is one thing. Knowing the subject matter, knowing what you're saying is another. 这两个结构我相信大家在学校里面绝对是没有学过的，而且这两个句式结构是真正你会在生活中间，在跟外国人的相处中间遇到的结构。那么它有什么好处呢？首先，作为一个使用者来说，你可以更快速的把你想表达的信息给划分出一个层次。一方面，什么什么 is one thing， 然后什么什么 is another， 你就有素材可以想了，你就可以把自己脑中一团浆糊的那个想法可以放置在这个句式结构上面。第二呢，是你在听别人说话的时候，别人老外可能那句话中间有很多细节，很多血肉你听不懂，但整个骨架你听出来，你听到了 just because blah 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 blah， 那么你也就知道了后面一定会有个 that doesn't mean。那么你就可以对信息进行分层，能够抓住它的逻辑。这是第一期视频哈，我也不知道该如何转折，总之我们就直接到下一个趴，到这个发音这一趴。上一期视频里面我们提到的是这个 assimilation， 提到的是同化，我们讲到的是音的同化。这一期呢，我们也在讲另外一个同化的例子，就是我刚才说到这个爱尔兰的这个议员，爱尔兰的代表他说话的时候如何。我说的是 Irish speaker, this Irish speaker said blah 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 blah。如果你仔细听，你会发现我说的并不是 Irish speaker， 尽管 Irish 以 sh 结尾 ，speaker 以 s 开头，可是两个字放在一起的时候，我说的是 Irish speaker，Irish speaker， 因为 sh 跟 s 碰到一起的时候，这个 s 会同化成一个 sh，Irish speaker。大家要注意我这边不仅仅只是把 Irish 跟 speaker两个词合在了一起，只发了一声 sh， 而且这个 sh 的时间其实要比光是发 Irish 要长了那么一点点。这是为什么呢？不知道还记不记得在这个视频里我们讲过叫 twinning 或者叫 gemination 这个技巧。但比如说he looks sad，he looks sad， 在 looks 跟 sad 之间我们只发了一声 s， 不过这个 s 是稍微长一点点的。he looks sad，he looks sad， 稍微长了一点点。那这边也是同理，我们首先出现了同化 assimilation， 把那个 speaker 变成了 speaker，Irish speaker， 可是两个词合在一起的时候又出现了 gemination， 出现了 twinning， 所以这个 sh 比一般你要直接发 Irish 要长那么一点点。Irish speaker，Irish speaker。类似的例子还比如说 English student， English student 也是只发了一个10，不过时间稍微长一点点。那么这就是assimilation 跟 twinning 同时发生的时候最终的效果。Okay, that's all I've got. Yeah, this is the very first episode of this new series. Please let me know what you think of it in the comment section. And thank you so much for watching this video, for all the support. I don't really have an ending for this, so let's just watch a blooper. Oh my god, my receding hairline. I just can't do anything about it. It just can't be helped. Oh my god. And we've got a little like a fork. Ah, shit. Ah.